Hello and welcome to today's episode of Filling the Gap, your one-stop shop for Pacers Gap Year coverage. I'm your host, Andrew Schreiner, and today we will be discussing the Pacers preseason finale against the Spurs in San Antonio. Well, they went down with a bit of a whimper in preseason to finish 2-2. They lost 133 to 104, so that's a 29-point loss. The more important number, though, they trailed 66-63 at halftime. So they were very much in the game with the starters playing, and it was the bench in kind of garbage time, late third quarter and into the fourth, where the lead really opened up for San Antonio. So it was a pretty productive night for the starters, including Isaiah Jackson, who had his best game of the preseason. He seems to be getting settled after that Achilles injury. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals in 15 minutes. He was the lowest scoring starter, so all 5 starters had above 8 points or more. And it was encouraging to see. They looked pretty good. Like I said, they trailed 66-63 at halftime, but there were a few issues. They gave up 39 first quarter points, and the defending around the rim was a problem once again. If you watched my breakdown of their first matchup with San Antonio in the preseason, you'll remember that I said that was an issue that I was hoping to see maybe some improvements, see if they could game plan a little bit better to protect the rim. They did not. And I think that's going to be a problem throughout the season this year, just given the personnel. Miles Turner no longer there to protect the rim, and they're going to need to be able to lock down the perimeter then to prevent people from getting to the rim. They do not seem to be able to do that, at least against the San Antonio Spurs. They also had 19 turnovers in the game, and it was not just the bench players in the third and fourth quarters making mistakes and playing sloppy. 8 of those 19 came from the starters, which was disappointing to see. They're going to need to take care of the ball, especially when they start the season against that vaunted Oklahoma City defense next Thursday. The second half then was pretty ugly, but there were a few bright spots from the reserve players as they came in. Cam Payne, he had his best game so far in a Pacers uniform. He had 10 points, 2 assists, only 1 turnover. Looks like he's getting settled in, back up to game shape, and hopefully he can hold down the fort at the backup point guard position until McConnell returns from his hamstring injury. We also saw the return of Ben Shepherd, which was good to see. It was a typical Ben Shepherd performance. He made a 3, some hustle plays, didn't make any significant mistakes. Other than that, there wasn't a lot to note. It was kind of what we've seen. Jay Huff had a little bit of a rough night, but other than that, most of the players kind of did what they've done so far, so nothing too exciting or alarming out of the rest of the crew. So now we're done with preseason matchups and we're awaiting final roster decisions. The roster has to be set by 5 p.m. on Monday. And so the Pacers need to get down to 18. They have 15 standard roster spots and 3 two-ways. Those 3 two-ways have been settled for a long time. That's Quentin Jackson, Ray J. Dennis, and Talon Peter. But the 15-man roster still needs to be set. And so they have, as I'm recording, already waived Gabe McLaughlin and Jalen Slauson. That was expected. They will likely be with the Noblesville Boom this season. They looked okay in preseason, but nothing to make the Pacers think they should get a standard contract or a two-way spot. So that brings them down to 16. So they need to cut one more player, and you can expect it to be Tony Bradley. He doesn't have guaranteed money, and with those point guard injuries, I just don't think they can keep 4 centers. If they had McConnell healthy and they had Quentin Jackson healthy on his two-way deal, I think they would like to keep Tony Bradley. He played valuable minutes for them, and with Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman both returning from those Achilles injuries, they're not going to be playing back-to-backs, and so I think they would like to have a fourth center on the roster. But with the injury situation in the guard room, they simply can't afford to cut Cam Payne, who would be the odd man out if McConnell were healthy. So thank you for watching today's episode. We have a few days, like I said, until the regular season starts against Oklahoma City, so I will be back with the final roster update after they've cut their final player. And then I'll have one more preseason episode where I'll make my Pacers season predictions. So please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything during this gap year. I'll see you next time.